Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of On the Other Line Canada. We're going to have an interesting show. And what do I mean by interesting? Well, many people will make the reference that Adam and I have a lot of inside jokes as well as Mitch. It's true, so try to stick with us. One thing I will guarantee you is you won't need a pillow. Vishal, welcome to the show. Aaron, welcome to the show. Joel, welcome to the show. I see you've been out hunting. We like to see that. We have an awesome hour to tie up with talking about this week, fall fishing, and what is better than fall fishing? 2 weeks of episodes on ice fishing. Now, I know many people are already wondering, why the F would we talk ice fishing? Well, why the F, and by F I mean fun, wouldn't we talk ice fishing? And the king of ice fishing, actually, can I call you the king of ice fishing? You don't even ice fish, do you?
Yeah, I ice fish a bit, I think we're out the first week of November and we end when the ice leaves pretty much. Sometimes you have to have that extra flotation on your wings on your arms in April there, but
well, it's weird because Wayne is on here and Wayne says you don't even know how to fish, let alone ice fish. So Wayne, I don't know. I'm just calling Mitch out, as you should. I mean, you do have the legal right to be able to do that. Can Dad do it better, Mitch?
Well, he taught me stuff. He taught me a lot of stuff, like learned so much from my family, my dad, grandparents and stuff. So I learned so much, and then it's just bringing that new age style to it, right?
New age style. I'm not sure if I've heard that one before.
There's so many different lures and techniques that are coming up lately. Just different techniques, like you're bringing bass fishing into walleye fishing. You're bringing different techniques that work for so many other species lately.
I mean, that is the joy with fishing, right? There's a lot of different tactics and ways to get it done. And it's why I always say I enjoy fishing with as many different people as I can, because you learn many different things.
Definitely. There's so many people with different knowledge, and you can pick up so many tips from different people every time you go out on different bodies of water, because every body of water is different, right?
Yep. Well, you mentioned bass. I know a true bass hole. Hey.
Is that Thanks, buddy.
No worries. I didn't know how else to introduce you. I mean, Mitch was referring to your age when he said new age ways of fish. How does that make you feel?
Well, he is definitely right when he says, like, when you go out with people, you got to constantly, you can learn new things from everybody. So one thing that I definitely use with my style is I've taken a little bit from every one of you that I've fished with, and I've stolen a little something from you, and I use it to my style, which I guess apparently to you is the new style. To me, I'd say it's pretty basic.
Actually, interesting question for both of you. I got asked the other day, who is my favorite person to watch on YouTube? Now, obviously, I'm a self-centered kind of person, so we know what my answer was. Adam, do you have someone you enjoy following on YouTube other than yourself or me that you maybe get tips and tricks from that you enjoy? I'm going to put you on the spot. You didn't even see this coming.
No, that's all right. Well, like when I first started watching YouTube, Uncut Angling was huge. He's kind of taking a little break right now, but Jay Siemens, who originally filmed for him, is absolutely incredible. The guy's cinematography is absolutely insane. Someone who makes me laugh a whole bunch is like Carol Murata. That's a great channel to watch, and he catches a lot of bass, and he's from close to where I'm from, so it's nice to see that area in his videos. Which is cool.
Little taste of home, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Mitch, what are you into on YouTube?
On YouTube? Yeah, Uncut Angling's good. That's hands down an amazing show. But there's the Linders, anything by the Linders, they're a wealth of knowledge, crazy. Huge knowledge.
I've been watching a lot of Jensen's fly fishing lately, and the stuff that they have to teach you is incredible. That is a channel that if you're a fly fisherman, everybody should be watching that. It has taught me so much and improved my game tenfold this year.
Oh, just the cinematography on that too. It's like drone footage. You see them casting. You see that fish come up. Amazing channel too. There's so many great people out now. There's just so many options. The market's kind of flooded in that aspect, but there's so much good stuff to watch.
There
Absolutely.
really is. I'm a sucker for lake trout videos on the flasher. Those are my favorite.
So Matt Weaver.
Matt Weaver, that kid
Yeah.
does it good. Now, Cold Lake, are you doing it this year, Adam? Are you gonna, if there's a derby? No? Why not?
I just
your answer is no.
Yeah, like you say, we have a lot of inside jokes. Like we know how I feel about Cold Lake. Like I don't know. It's a long ways for me to go to catch some mediocre fish.
Would bitter be the word you're looking for?
Bitter? No, I'm not bitter at all. I'm not bitter. I think it's a
bitter?
beautiful place. I actually used to live there. I think it's absolutely beautiful, but I think there's hogs that are a lot closer to me, anyways.
Mitch, you're going to be probably going up and doing some filming or something this year, I would imagine.
Yeah, we'll be up there. We'll do the tournament for sure. It's always a good time with friends and everything, so we'll do that.
I won't be doing it this year because I made a promise for the last 8 months. I know Lee's on here. Lee, I'm still bitter. I will not be doing Cold Lake this ice fishing season, and I have a buddy trying to change my mind. It will not be happening. I have to stick to my guns. This is the year I actually do what I say I'm going to do. Do you guys think Adam's laughing because he's like, yeah, I've heard this before.
We'll see, man. We've been having trouble planning trips this year. It's just not going our way at all. At all.
Springfish, Manitoba, canceled. Summerfish, Manitoba, canceled. Fall fish, it's already looking like winter. With everything going on, it's not looking positive.
It's too late.
Worth the risk for winter?
I don't know if I really want to go there. Like,
go like Winnipeg, Greenbacks.
Yeah, well, Winnipeg, Greenbacks, Athapap, Lakers. There's a place, Fort Peck, Montana, like for Lakers. I don't know. There's a lot of options, man. There's a lot of options.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tough decision. I will do my best to stick to the fact I will not go to Cold Lake this year.
Like, I would totally be down if you want to go to Athapap. If we can get across the border and go to Fort Peck, that's another place I want to go big time. That's only like 7 hours for me. Cold Lake's 8.5, so.
I'll make you a deal. We can go to Athapap, but only if we go Dumb and Dumber style. I'll get us a scooter with a heated cover, and we'll dress up. I'm not talking the dog van. I'm talking scooter. I'll you drive, and we'll shift.
We'll have a sled on the back. I'll just hang on to who's ever on the back and hang on to the sled. We'll be good to go.
Mitch will follow us in his 150 with the blinkers on.
You guys, I got stuff to do.
I have real life things to do, guys.
I feel like Mitch politely just told us to have fun with ourselves with a strong F. Mitch?
Well, you guys can do this adventure when you're stuck together at the end of the trip and not sharing mittens. That's your own problem, right?
We'd have the snotsicles to match, man. Aaron's saying Cold Lake Ice is calling his name. I will agree with you. There's always that quick buzz that you just want to get up there, get it done. I'll just sit and stew on it for a while. Mitch, we're seeing a lot of comments. Now, you mentioned before the show you want to see how talented everyone watching is. What's the little contest you want to run? I know Bobby Ziegler won one of your gifts there a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it's almost in the mail, but that's a tomorrow thing.
Now, here's the problem is Bobby is already posting things. It's an off-color person waving. I don't know what it is. It could be roadkill. I'm not sure. I can't see it very well. Colton's got the eyeballs. Mitch?
Bobby's out because he won this one.
Yeah, Bobby says no rush, which we know how those metal guys are. What do you want to do for everybody here, Mitch? Why don't you announce it?
All right. We have another camp stove. Perfect for in your shack, out hunting, cooking soups, whatever, coffee. That thing cooks everything. Let's do some fish emojis. Then we're gonna come to a conclusion at the end if it's gonna be the first or the last person. So
Okay, so fish emojis for everybody. I can't even do it because I don't know how. Hot knives not included with this cooking setup. I know Adam already wants one for winter for fishing. So we'll have to see. We've got one fish emoji, actually back-to-back fish emojis. Chelsea's up there. Could be first, could be last, could be in between. And speaking of stuff to give, the crazy Aussie chose the Edmonton Oilers game tonight instead of watching the show. So, Broden, feel free to post Flames photos on Broden and his social media to really teach him a lesson. He made it very clear he fully intends on Aaron can't find him, Bobby's crying and puking. We'll let you guys continue. Adam, what do you want to start with? Bear safety or fall fishing?
Well, with all the bear thing going on, I think we should probably talk about bear safety a little bit. I mean, there's been 2, I guess, attacks and then one encounter that was a bit of a close call within like the last 48 hours in Alberta with grizzlies. So I think we should just kind of talk about like I put it down somewhere. I always carry my bear spray with me, guys. At least have bear spray. Like that's bare minimum. Like that's a pretty good what is it called when you use 2 words that are the same? I don't remember. But yeah, bear spray is at least minimal. You got to have that. An air horn is something else that's super good. Luckily, I'm just like naturally super loud and talk to myself and sing along while I walk around along the river. But guys, just make sure you're making a lot of noise out there and you're prepared for if you do come across a bear. So it could go bad. Luckily, we haven't had anything fatal. But yeah, just be aware.
And last show I did offer, if anyone's got an extra $5,000 kicking around, I'll let this thing go in the office. Marcy probably won't be happy, but hey, $5,000 for charity, I'm willing to do it. Why not?
You're gonna take it. You're gonna take it in the face.
In the face for 10.
No, come on, we're doing it on camera. That's like big time views for you. You're good to go.
Oh man, bear mace in the face.
I've been maced before and it sucks. Like okay, not by the police. I'm not a criminal, people. But I have been maced before and it does not feel good at all.
Marcy says $5,000 first person in the face. Done deal. What? How long did that take you to recover from?
Not very long. I like. It was. That's a whole other story. It wasn't a great situation.
Mitch, have you savored the flavor of bear spray?
No. I'm pretty agile, like a jungle cat, so I've never had to be in that situation,
Someone thought I was a bear once, I guess. Maybe. I'm a pretty big guy,
I'm more laughing that Mitch called himself agile, which is not a word I would expect anyone. Explain Mitch in one word. Agile.
Yeah, maybe it was like 10 years ago, but I still believe in myself, so that's what I'm going with.
Yeah, well, Skinny's my middle name, bud. Bear bangers, I packed those. I have a tendency to leave them in the truck. Funny story, I only bought them after we were chased out of the country by a grizzly. Always good, but again, you got to be able to pack something with you to be able to utilize that.
Yeah, don't push your luck. Like, a lot of people will sit there and they'll get, like, I don't know, you see a lot of, more so in parks, see people getting really close to animals, and it's just super unnecessary, guys. Like, if you want to get a picture like that, buy a longer lens. You don't need to be risking yourself or risking others by getting too close to these things. So,
know your unicorns in Banff is about the only thing we can really advise you on, right? What's your thoughts, Mitch? I've been reading a lot of the posts, especially in most recent attacks, where we're seeing a lot of people on social media saying they want to see a lottery for grizzly hunts or raffles of some kind. Do you think that's really going to be the solution or the path we start going down?
It's just a matter of time. It's gonna happen that there will be a lottery. They'll start with a lottery. Then if the population keeps growing, they'll have to adjust that, right? It's just the population is gaining so much momentum. And even when they did their counts before, when they said there was no grizzlies, there was still in our area 6 or 7 grizzlies in 6 or 7 kilometers, right? There was moms and cubs. And I don't want to say it's pushed by like certain groups out of the states and people that want to make the whole corridor of the Rocky Mountains into a national park, so there's no hunting like around Nordegg and stuff and all that. The Y2K people, or the Y2, yeah, something like that. They were pushing hard to go from Yellowstone all the way to the Yukon, so you can't hunt, you can't quad, you can't do anything. And that was a lot of money out of the States, and I think it kind of pushed people to make a judgment because they're saying, oh, save the bears, and they dump so much money into advertising. And now all of a sudden we have so many grizzlies everywhere, especially central Alberta, southern Alberta. They're just overwhelming. Like, where did they come from? It's a weird thing to have that much population just grow in 2 years.
It makes you wonder.
Management is definitely key, obviously. I mean, that's why we have hunting zones, so that we can specifically group and take care of those zones. So we just got to make sure that they figure out a way to properly manage them, because if people are getting attacked, there's obviously a lot of wildlife that's going down, potentially livestock. So all these things need to be looked at, and a management plan obviously has to come into place. So
yeah, Mitch, you were right. It's the Y2Y. Bobby's just saying. The Yellowstone to Yellowknife initiative.
Yeah, no, they want everything to be just a park, so you can't do nothing. You can't quad, you can't 4x4, no random camping really, unless it's a designated campsite. They're pretty much locking it down to national parks, so we can't have what we had, like random camping. Can't go hunting in there. And they're just pushing on people maybe not as educated, I guess, and they'll put out ads just to influence the city people saying, hey, save the bears, save our wildlife. Everybody's destroying everything, when the majority of the hunters and fishermen are looking out for nature, and we just have to keep pushing forward and not let our areas get shut down, kind of, to access to those extra areas.
Well, and it's like we've been talking a lot this month with hunting. I mean, it really comes down to education. You know, when you look at it for so many of the outdoor activities and sports, it doesn't matter where you go now. You see people that are either abusing the system or abusing what we have, and it's leading to a lot of these rules and regulations that they're wanting to enforce. So, you know, it's up to us to really be able to start, I guess, educating these people. It would be the polite way of putting it. We both know we'd rather be vigilante with them, but I mean, what more can we really do? Because the way I'm looking at it right now is we're going to start having a lot of these freedoms taken away from us. Mitch, even in the off-road world, I mean, you guys have seen it year after year on the northern end of things, right?
Oh yeah, like even now, Abraham shut down half their area around the dam just because with that shitty COVID stuff, everybody wanted to get out, and they don't know what they're doing. They're just showing up. They're camping. They're leaving stuff behind. Bears are coming in because they're not cleaning up their campsite at night. They're not packing stuff away. And they shut down half that area this year. and it's just going to get worse. Like the year before, they started putting boulders at camp spots where you used to be able to camp at.
Yep.
They're blocking roads, and they're just trying to keep the population out of there, and they're just going to bottleneck them somewhere else. And there's got to be a solution. Like there's so many things we can do. Just if you want to go camping out west, since you have to pay the fee, you might as well take a test. It's not even a hard test, just an educational thing. Just how to what do you do to store your garbage? What are you burning in the fire? If you're backpacking, how far do you have to have your stuff hanging from your tent away? Do you put it in the cache spots in certain locations where you backpack in? They have steel areas you can put it in and lock it for the night.
Yep.
There's so many different things, but there's so many new people into the West Country with no education, and there's no program giving them that education. So they're just showing up and doing whatever kind of they feel like or think they should be doing.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, Adam, I don't know what it's like. Obviously, you don't get the grizzly bear population in Medicine Hat, but as far as education, are you seeing a lot of abuse of the system down there as well when it comes to some of these areas that we can access freely?
Well, unfortunately, around Medicine Hat, there's not a whole lot of Crownland camping. So most of the stuff is pretty organized, and it has been for years. So realistically, it can't get any busier. A lot of these campgrounds have been at capacity for years. The lakes are certainly seeing a lot of traffic and stuff like that for sure. But honestly, in my area, I would actually like to say that I'm pretty proud of like what's going on. Is like I'm not seeing a ton of garbage around. You know, like when I do head west into Crownland, I'm seeing what Mitch is talking about. I'm seeing a lot more human damage, but not so much around where I am. Like I say, it's pretty well patrolled as well, is the other thing. We have Alberta Parks, right? And Alberta Parks stays on top of things quite a bit. So it would almost be comparable to like Kananaskis, where you're actually in the park instead of like on the outer boundaries, where there's garbage cans, there's camping zones, and constantly park rangers cruising around. So
yeah, have you seen an increase in any officers in Medicine Hat? Like, do you run into them very often down there?
To be totally honest, the actual fishing officer, like fish cops, they seem to be doing a lot of the camping work instead of actually fishing and hunting work, which is kind of sad to see. I haven't been checked, and I've seen a lot of fish cops drive past me, and clearly I'm right here. Hey, come and say hi, or check my license, or the people that I'm with. But they are pretty short staffed, so it's hard to give them too much of a grind, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Mitch, what have you been encountering up there? Any increase in policing efforts at all?
There was a little more. They're trying to add some more, but it's so hard. It's such a big area, and you just can't cover it all. Like there was
the amount of people is insane.
Yeah.
And when you have one guy patrolling all of Nordig, that's from like almost the Brazos down to the Clearwater. Like that's a huge area to cover, and
It is.
He's wound out. Sometimes he gets help from some other places, but it's not good.
You pretty much have to think like, so we sold 40,000 more fishing licenses last year than we did the year before. Think about how many people aren't fishermen. Think about how many people are just camping. I bet you there's hundreds of thousands of people going out camping that have never gone camping before. Because like Mitch said, when you go west, those places are changing dramatically. From 5 years ago, I would go down gravel roads into areas that are paved now, that have stone boulders that tell you where you can camp and where you cannot camp.
They have signs.
Things are changing quite dramatically.
What's the sign say, Mitch?
there's signs with little Sasquatches in Clearwater County, usually, and it's an approved camp spot. The one's right off the side of different gravel roads. It says approved camp spot with a check mark. And those places are always packed. But there's no, like, if you're willing to 4x4 down a cut line to a camp spot on the creek, it's still legit. Like, there's nothing saying you can't do that. But it's all the people that are just trying to get out there and get away from the city that go down the easy roads. Those areas are always packed. And once they go out there, they realize, hey, this is awesome. So then they're going to expand into the other areas that are a little more remote. And it's just getting overwhelmed. And like with the Crown Land camping thing, if they use it for a good purpose to add more enforcement and stuff, the fee, that would be great. Yep. Trail maintenance, fees for Crown Land camping, where you're camping, like you have to clean that stuff up, but when they go by, they can still like pick up stuff. It just needs more enforcement. It's ridiculous out there right now.
And more help from us, right? If you see a mess, maybe clean it up a little bit as well. I know Adam does that. I see that guy pack out more garbage than he packs in gear. So,
and I pack a stupid amount of gear, man. What?
I didn't want to bring it up, but you always have that 9,500 gallon backpack that I don't know if it doubles as your sleeping bag or.
Hey, if there's anything that we need when we're fishing, you need, I need, anyone needs, we got it. It's all good.
More along the lines of what I need is typically how our fishing trips go.
The only problem is my sweaters don't quite fit you.
Unless you need an extra layer, I usually stretch them out for you. I know we've tried it. Maybe this winter we'll try the hoodie stretching exercise program between you and I. You can wear mine. It'll look like a mini skirt, and I'll wear yours, and it'll look like a tube top.
Hey, there you go. Doesn't sound like a bad idea to me.
Mitch, you can join in too. I can tell you already feel left out.
No, that's okay.
That's a nice hoodie you got on, actually. Can you bring that one?
No.
No.
Stretched or shrunk or cut or whatever you guys are making in your fucking, quilting activities.
Hey, Mitch, that's twice. I don't know if you're trying to make up for the fact that you're not here next week because you're off hunting, but I'll tell you what, we'll have a chat in the after hours episode that you and I'll do on the other line after dark. For sponsorship inquiries for that one, come see what's in the coffee cup. Adam, fall fishing, how many trips do you have left remaining before Mother Nature flips a switch on you?
Honestly, man, with the water temperatures the way they are compared to last year, it's looking a little bit later, I think. But I don't know how much later because that obviously we live in Alberta and that can change in about 3 minutes. So right now I'm predicting being on the ice first weekend of November. We'll see about that. Last year it was obviously earlier. I think it was a week and a half, 2 weeks earlier than that. It was October. But I just don't think October is going to happen this year, and I'm all right with that right now. The fall fishing's been pretty good.
Now, you mentioned November and ice.
Yeah.
Obviously, when it comes to ice safety, and we'll talk about this in the next couple of weeks,
you're
a considerably thinner gentleman than myself. So when you're talking ice in November, I instantly start to pucker in areas that normally shouldn't pucker on Taco Tuesday. How much ice? What is the minimum thickness you will walk?
I've been on some. It really depends on how deep of water I'm going in. I've been on stuff that I've had to like run and like slide so that I didn't break it to get to the middle stuff, which is a little bit better. But let's say 2 inches, guys. Don't risk going on anything under 2 inches.
I feel like I've fished with Lee on 3 and maybe Scott Stewart on 3, and it's not my thing. Mitch has got a grin. Mitch, what's
I don't mind it.
For myself, usually early season's brookie fishing for me, so they're all in shallow, so
Yeah, that's the thing.
it's all gravy. If you drop through, it's usually you're up to maybe your stomach or something. So I'm fine with that. But I don't recommend going on anything under 3 to 4 inches for anybody unless you're knowledgeable, have the right equipment, and have an escape plan, a friend, rope, tie a rope to a tree before you go if you're going out by yourself so you can pull yourself back out of the ice. But there's so many tips we can bring up on a later date, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't be pushing it, guys, but we got a little bit to go before we get there anyway, so.
Are you planning on fishing the bow this fall? That's what I really wanted to ask you. And why is because it ties into a certain story about you.
Dude, I haven't fished the bow in like a year and a half, honestly. And I've had a couple people ask me lately if I wanted, like, if I was going to come up, if I'm going to come up this fall. And I want to, but we'll see. My birthday's coming up. Maybe I'll make a trip up for my birthday. Maybe I won't.
Well, Marcy did
I like to be
happen to mention
secretive about that. What's that?
You
I
already
like to
know
be
what I'm
secretive
doing.
about what I'm doing, so.
Yeah, you're a little bit of a gypsy. Well, Marcy did mention the other day about how much she missed fishing with you, so we will have to make that happen. Now,
I'm kind of worried because, like, I made fun of her brother, and, like, he was clearly would hurt me with, like, a flick to the forehead. So
he'd hurt
I
anyone.
kind of want to meet him, though, because he seems like a funny guy.
Come on up. He'll power lift you.
Yeah.
Now, the reason I ask is because this may or may not be familiar. This is my favorite go-to for fall fishing the bow. This one personally has been my go-to for all my big fish. Now, the reason I bring up fall fishing in the bow, because Adam, you may not remember, but we've actually only known each other for about 4 or 5 years. Feels like 20,
roughly,
right?
Yeah. Roughly. Yeah, it's been a long time in my brain.
Now, there's a very popular picture of you holding a very nice brown trout on the bow, which, let's be honest, wasn't yours, but more specific, neither was the treble hook buried in your wrist behind the brown trout. I bring it up because I remember that was probably the first time we ever fished together, and that's why I'm hoping.
That was definitely the first time we met.
And I don't know if you remember the look on my face, but I remember thinking, as I took the picture, I hardly know this guy. I want to fish, and I'm going to have to take him to the hospital. I still twitch every time I go to use my pliers to grab a treble because all I can picture is the fact that you grabbed that treble that was buried up to the bottom and ripped it out with the pliers and kept fishing. Anyways, funny story about how Adam and I met. That was traumatic. I still have nightmares about it.
Yeah, you were a lot more concerned than I was for my safety.
I tell you what, man, I
was so stoked on how big that brown was. That was a tank.
It was okay.
It was a nice fish.
I'll be modest about it. If you can't make it here, can we at least maybe make a trip down there?
Oh, 100%, man. Anytime, you're welcome. You and Marcy have an open invite.
That's a good answer because don't forget I know where you live.
Do you even remember, though? Can you remember?
It's over by the store, up from that other store, down by the other store. 3 blocks up from Dino's uncles, aunts, nieces, nephews, Greek cousin that owns the steakhouse. For anyone that can figure out those directions will understand.
That was actually perfect.
I told you, I know exactly where you live. But I did drive past there last time I tried to find it. So, Mitch, you're hunting next week. Any plans for fall fish at all?
We'll bang off some grayling next week. There's a nice grayling river there. Last year we got a ton. No size where I was, so I'm not really focusing on fishing that week. So I'll probably go down to that little pool and pound out a bunch of little guys. I think like 12, 14 inches. Nothing spectacular, but
You guys are
It'll be
hunting moose, correct?
yeah, we got moose tags, so hopefully we bang out a couple over the weekend and maybe get a little time off just to hang out. Then we head west for Thanksgiving for deep fried turkey camping again for the long weekend, so that'll be sweet.
You just made me realize Thanksgiving's coming. Wow.
Yeah,
Maybe.
no, next week, the weekend after is Thanksgiving, man.
Wow.
Yeah, it's up.
Didn't see that coming. That's a little bit too much pressure for me.
Yeah, right.
Fresh.
You love it. Like, I'm excited, man. Turkey, ham. I probably won't even have that stuff, but whatever. I'm excited for other people to have it.
Why does no one bring up?
Hey, come up to Nordegg.
I'll be fishing down here. I got plans, and right now I'm like super busy at work, so I don't think I'll be able to fish this weekend. But I got some plans, and I need to get them done, and I haven't been able to pull off my goal for the year.
I mean, let's back up a minute. I'm more upset that no one mentioned pumpkin pie, but maybe that's
Because
just
we're not-
because-
Like, it's pumpkin pie, man. Like,
We're not girls from Starbucks.
yeah, and like, it's good. Yeah, we get it. Pumpkin pie's good. Have you ever had Coogan? Apple Coogan? Way better than apple pie.
What is
Or-
Coogan?
Do I have to go get it out of my fridge? No, I'm
It
not
sounds
doing that. We don't have time for that. It's a kind of pie. It's like amazing. It's like
It's a
cream
pie?
cheese and apple. Oh man, it's amazing. Put some ice cream on it. Good to go.
Coogan.
And pumpkin.
What's that?
And pumpkin.
No, I don't want pumpkin. I said put ice cream on it.
So it's cheesecake apple pie.
Yeah, it's like a cheesecake apple pie, but like super, super good
With cinnamon.
with cinnamon.
Dang.
I mean,
Damn.
it sounds amazing, but still, pumpkin pie, it's where it's at.
It is good. I will give you that.
Okay, Mitch, we got no more fish emojis coming through. Number between 1 and 7.
1 and 7. I go 3 always.
3. Always? I don't think you always pick 3, do you?
3 always.
Next time it won't be 3. It'll be 4 always.
Now, do we go 3 from the top or 3 from the bottom? Because we never actually discussed that.
3 from the top.
I don't know. Flip a coin. You got a coin?
I do actually have a coin right here.
That's impressive.
Dang. Oh, a floor coin.
A floor coin that fell out of my anyways, that's a whole nother story. So what are we doing? If it's heads, it's top 3. If it's tails, it's bottom.
Yeah, heads is the top.
You guys trust me?
Yeah.
You sure? What
Well,
if
if
I
we've
mess
been
this up?
friends this long and I can't trust you, there's something wrong. We have known each other longer than 5 years. Get real. It's been like 7
No.
or 8.
No,
Yeah,
it's
it
not.
has, dude. Yeah.
I'm telling you right now.
Guys, I'm sorry that we're having a personal battle online right now. We have been friends for a lot longer than 5 years, bro. Like, get real.
No.
Whatever. We were talking
Think
about this
about
in the after hours show.
Okay, we'll talk about it after dark. Marcy and I got fake married this weekend after almost 3 years, and you and I
got
knew
fake
each other at
married?
least 2 years. Yes, it was a prank.
Dude was wearing a Popeye shirt.
Dale was in a Popeye shirt, and we were in Crocs and jogging pants. At what point did anyone think that was real? Am I going to
People
sit
done
here
a
like
lot
this all
weirder
night, or are
things.
we going to figure out top 3, bottom 3?
Go. Just go. Top 3
What's-
heads.
What's funny is if anyone is watching on Facebook, I got a weird notification about 10 minutes ago. There's a possibility nobody can even comment. So if you are watching, it shows there's 11 people watching, although we know not everyone is watching. Make a comment on there. I'd be interested to see if StreamYard screwed us over once again. What was the
Because we
call
keep
again?
spraying.
Heads is up.
Tails is bottom, right?
Yeah.
Can anyone even see that? See the horns? See the horns. Anyone see the horns? Let's see if we can get this.
We cannot
No,
focus.
it's just a shiny thing blinding people.
Okay, how's that?
There we go. I
Tails.
seen it for a split second.
Tails is Mr. Lloyd Barot.
Nice. Congratulations, dude. That's sick.
Lloyd, shoot us a message after the show, or I'll send you a message, and Mitch will get you out the hot knifeless barbecue burner. What is it? Like, what do you even call it? Camping burner?
Stove. Camp
Barbecue.
stove. Backpacking camp stove.
Barbecue camping backpack stove.
There's no barbecue in it.
But you could barbecue on it.
You could, I guess. You'd have to put it on a stick or a turtle, and you put that turtle upside down so it's like a bowl and just boil them in it.
Tortoise soup. I don't think Greg is on here. I don't think he thought it was funny. If anyone's looking for a pair of tortoises, Greg is selling them. My comment didn't go over very well, but that's a whole nother conversation. And possibly nobody from Facebook is watching us. So it says that there's 10 of you. There's a strong possibility StreamYard has kicked us off of Facebook. Seeing no comments. We could just sit here and talk garbage for the next 20 minutes and people would never know. Not that anyone's watching.
Perhaps.
I think that's pretty much what we've done for the first 40.
It's been an 8-month trip, my friend. If you're slowly winding up for winter fishing, you're packing up your gear. Are you stripping rods and reels?
Who is getting ready for fucking winter fishing when fall fishing is like, dude, catch me a fish that I'm.
Okay, Marcy said, "Oh, Marcy, you want to come on the show?"
Marcy, come on the show. Aaron, come on the show.
The guys are calling you. Erin said she'll come on if you come on.
Aaron, come on the show.
Nobody's watching anyways. Don't worry about it. Oh, apparently it's not working on my end. So Marcy will have to come in and run the show for us.
Where's Marcy?
She won't come on.
Marcy.
So rumor is there's a lot of comments on Facebook. We'll try to bring them up. Adam, we're talking fishing gear, fall prep into winter because the next 2 weeks are ice fishing. Do you strip your rods and reels?
No, there's no reason to.
Line doesn't go bad?
Absolutely not. Well, eventually it goes bad, but I mean, I strip my reels enough that I don't have to do it just because winter's coming up. That's for sure. Like I don't switch to ice braid. I'll tell you that. I use regular braid. I definitely don't switch monofilament. And I only use fluorocarbon for leaders in like the odd situation. So I'm definitely not going to be pulling that. But like I do just run. Typically, I just take my reels off my open water rods and switch them over onto ice rods. So
that's it. You're holding your finger at me. If you don't put that thing down right now, I'll tell you what's good.
We're still broadcasting on Facebook.
Yes, we are. So I have resorted to comments on my phone. If anyone has questions for Adam or Mitch, you'll have to be happy to know technology let us down. But at least it's not like the episode with Brad Fenson, which I don't know, Mitch, if you remember. We spent almost 40 minutes talking amongst the three of us. So I do feel like we owe Brad a show off of that. Not many people noticed it. But it does still say that people are watching, and we're having to watch from my phone here because we have lost all chat on StreamYard. So StreamYard, thanks for your support if you're looking for a shout out. So yeah, if anyone does have
still
questions,
people here and they haven't just left. That's good.
Well, they may have. Lloyd, anyways, I see your comment. You have to keep tapping the page. I'm on my laptop, and for another $5,000, I'll show you how I tap my laptop page. So if you do have questions, I will have them here. Lloyd, congratulations on your win. I don't know what you're going to do with it, but I'm sure with everything you do outdoors, it's going to come in really handy. What else did you bring, Adam? I know you got something else to
Well,
show
no,
us.
I got a bunch of stuff that I can talk about, but it's up to you what you want to talk about.
This
Like
isn't my show.
I've been doing a lot of stock trout fishing. We can talk about that. I've been doing a lot of walleye fishing. We can talk about that.
No, let's back up.
And a lot of it is actually very similar.
I know the one topic you don't want to talk about with trout fishing, but what is it about stock trout fishing that's suddenly giving you some interest there? I'm dying to know.
Oh, yeah, like, I don't know. It's not that I don't like stock trout fishing. There's just very limited times when I do. I'm not on the rivers right now. I didn't get a chance to fish cutties very much this year, which kind of sucks. A few other species are spawning, so I'm trying to just let them be. So I'm really focusing on walleye. Brookies is a big thing that's going in the fall, and then tigers, which I've been having luck with all three right now, and it's been a lot of fun. And it's honestly a lot of similar methods. Big streamers when I'm throwing fly gear, and slip bobbing when I'm throwing spin gear. The slip bobber is absolutely crushed me a ton of big fish this year.
You're running slip bobber with what on the bottom?
Minnows. Usually minnows. Like sometimes I'll switch to worms. Basically, so we're turning a lot more into minnows. It was about 3 weeks ago. I was getting a lot more fish on worms. Now I'm turning into minnows, even small suckers, especially if I'm fishing walleye. I'll be fishing small suckers. Fish are trying to get big for wintertime. And then I found just keeping it off bottom, tickling, like, because the weeds are dying significantly faster in the past 2 weeks than they have been. So tickling the tops of the weeds with slip bobbers has been super important. But even with the weeds disappearing, it's still going to be a super key method. And I'm probably just going to keep upsizing my minnows bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger as I go.
Right.
Even if you're using giant minnows, like I've been catching 10-inch brookies on 4-inch minnows. So they're going to eat them. If you put them on their head, they're super aggressive right now. So you just got to keep moving your bait around. It's the biggest thing.
I actually never thought you'd be getting heavy into that.
I started enjoying it this spring, honestly, like right before sturgeon season. I was spending a lot of time on the tinner, floating around, pretending like I was drifting the old Bow River there with my fly rod and casting to the bank with streamers. And I actually, like, what I was doing was I just really wanted to get comfortable with streamers this year, and it turned out to be a super, super productive method. And when you got some big fish hanging around, it's fun to target them sometimes. So it's been a blast.
It really is. And when you have them figured out, why wouldn't you?
Yeah. One thing I kind of want to talk about is, like, so I've slip bobbered before, and I really, really, really struggled. I missed a lot of fish. I just didn't hook up very often. So I can't steal this as my own, but I watched a target walleye video from Brett McComas.
Yes.
And you got to use beads, guys. So I have a bead above my bobber, and then my bobber stop, bead above my bobber, slip bobber, and then I have my split shot, and then I have another bead. So that bead there is just to protect the knot, and then I have a barrel swivel, and then usually it's about 2 feet to another bead, and then my hook, depending on the size of bait, depends on your hook size. But ever since I switched to having multiple beads in my setup and that barrel swivel, the amount of fish I'm catching is gone up tenfold. And then the other thing that I switched was, instead of using a 6.6 or a 7-foot rod, I switched to a 9-foot rod. An 8-foot rod would be perfect too, but just the amount of line you pick up as you're reeling with a 9-foot rod compared to a 6-foot rod is obviously a lot greater, right? So what you're looking for is the sweeping hook set. You're not gonna smash a fish when you have a giant sucker on anyway. So
yeah, can you hold that setup again, because it's got my wheels turning. It's definitely not how I typically fish. a
Right.
slip bobber. So we've got
Bobber stop,
Yep.
bead. So there's a bead above the bobber here.
Yep.
And then there's the slip bobber, which I adjust. If I'm using a worm, I use a smaller bobber.
Correct.
But then I got the split shot there. And even though we only use dead bait, I find a split shot to get it down makes a huge difference because the fish strike it on the way down a lot more than you think. And if
Yep.
your bait doesn't get down fast, you're going to miss it because your minnow falls way too slow. So then below the split shot's another bead. And then we got the barrel swivel. And then you're going to have about 2 feet of fluorocarbon here to another bead with you know, a number 1, number 2, depending on the size of your bait. You might be using a worm, so you might use a bait holder hook. But yeah, depending on your bait, you'll switch your hook.
Now, this is why that gives me some creative juices here, is because usually when I'm doing slip bobber for trout, I will have stopper, bead, bobber, and then hook and split shot sometimes at the bottom or a second hook.
Yeah, see, no, I would probably never do that. To each their own, like that. Not that that's wrong, but the other thing. So, what I have a question for you. What do you use for line when you're slip bobbering? Because this was another thing that I noticed was a huge change for me.
This is actually a good topic. For all of my stream fishing, all of that kind of stuff, lake fishing, 10-pound big game. I don't go lighter.
Mono? Yeah.
Yeah, Berkeley big game. I swear by it. It's indestructible. I've caught large fish on it. It's good for all species. I wouldn't say I've given up on the yellow line, which I don't have here because I threw it out a couple shows ago. But big game is something that I've always sworn by.
I would encourage anyone, because this was another thing that I did. I would fish a abnormally long leader. Say I know that I want to fish 20 feet deep, so I need to run a 20-foot leader. But I used to only fish braided line like all the time. I ran mono very, very rarely. When I started slip bobbering with mono, it's a game changer. It feels like you haven't slip bobber fished before. So I encourage anyone who's going to slip bobber fish, definitely get the barrel swivel going, get the beads going, and put mono on your reel. And you're going to have a really good time this year.
Well, the best reason to do a setup like that is you're not waiting for the slack in your line to pick up as your hook sets when you toss it out.
Absolutely.
Which is by far the biggest advantage by having your split shot on the bottom side of the bobber.
Right.
Mitch, are you a slip bobber man?
No, I haven't done that since I was a kid, really. But like in Minnesota, we did a lots for sunfish, all the panfish and everything. But yeah, no, I'm a mono guy. Even like how Adam was describing using that live bait with the weight on it so it drops faster. I like to use Acme Hyperglides on all those trout lakes, 4-pound line, 4-pound mono, and just cast them out because they have that little hook on the back, so you can rip it out there. Then it'll dive right to the bottom. Then as soon as you set it, it'll engage it, so then it'll start gliding, and then you just rip it back to you. And especially right now, they're super aggressive, so just let it hit the bottom. So it's a walleye technique, and just let it bounce back to you. Just let it flutter, bounce it, just rip it, and it's a awesome technique. So you can get a lot of them little swim baits about that size, and it's a great technique for trout. That's kind of a walleye style, but it works awesome.
Absolutely.
No,
yeah, the slip bobber from, like I say, from tigers to brookies to walleye this year this fall has been just super clutch for me. The one thing, I mean, you could sit there and cast a bobber and watch it all day long, and it might never go under. the one thing that you have to remember is even though you're fishing a bobber, for me anyways, even though you're fishing a bobber, you got to be actively fishing it. If you're not dropping it on a brookie's head right now, he's probably not going to eat it. So you got to put it in front of him. So keep moving, keep casting, and that's going to be a big deal.
You just got me so excited for early ice brookies. I know you don't want to talk ice or show, but
I could talk ice for years, man. Like that's my favorite season of all time. But fall has just been super good to me. I'm not posting a lot. I'm kind of keeping to myself. But yeah, man, it's been fire.
I know we got to make our way down there.
One of these days.
It's funny because Broden actually brought up cranks. Broden's on here. I don't know if the Oilers are maybe losing. We know he's an Oilers fan. I'm watching you, Broden. I do still have your box of goodies, and Broden was just talking about flies and cranks. I still have a box of flies and cranks to send your way, bud. It's on the Mitch Lilly train, so I'll get that sent out tomorrow. I have to see that slip bobber set up one more time. Let's make notes.
I'm going to send you – I'll just send you a picture of it.
You'll just send it? Maybe, Adam, you can post that. We'll put it on the page.
Okay.
Slip bobber sales just tripled. Yeah. What other methods are you using right now you're having success with?
Well, like I fly fish too a lot, guys, right? So I'm leading with a small leech. Like if I'm trout fishing, I'm leading with a small leech. And I'm following up. I know a lot of guys really love fishing boatman. It's a super exciting bite. But it can be a little bit boring if you just indicator fish your boatman. What I like to do is, you're going to see the slip bobber, I guess, again. What I do is I just run like a leech or a woolly bugger here, and then I just run about a foot and back to my boatman. Because if you're keeping it active in the water a little bit, it's more likely to get a strike than just a boatman sitting under an indicator or just sitting on top of the water on the surface. So just keep your baits moving when you're fly fishing big time. Walleye fishing, and then if you like, I've been throwing bigger streamers too for stock trout right now. So like a big white Krelex minnow is doing super well. But streamers for walleye, man, I'm trying to put a 13-pound walleye on the wall, and I want to do it on the fly. And big streamers is doing better than anything for me.
So obviously you're just running that with a sinking line then?
Well, I run a sink tip line, and then instead of running like a tapered leader like you normally would on a fly rod, I'm just running 14-pound fluoro. And then, yeah, just a sink tip line. I'm fishing walleye are in kind of a weird transition. They're either deep right now. They're kind of on their way, but there's still a few stragglers left up shallow. So I'm trying to fish that 12 to 7 feet area. And let's just say I'm planning on putting one on the wall.
What's the wear rate on a streamer if you're fishing walleye like that for them? Do they wear out pretty quick or?
Well, I've caught a couple really big ones on this dungeon here, and it's all deer hair, so you think it would come apart pretty fast. And I've caught a ton of small ones on it, and it's not falling apart. So I've had no issues with wear. The problem is getting big streamers. Getting big streamers is pretty difficult, guys. You got to find someone online that'll help you out a lot of times. And I have some good buddies that are down in Lethbridge that tie me some of the dankest streamers going.
Dankest. Man, the terms I learned on this show are just amazing.
Hey, you called me the new generation, so I got to use like this. This is Liddy.
Are you the new G horseshoe kid?
No, don't call me the horseshoe kid. I'm not that anymore.
Why? Because Todd took it from you?
No, I have no desire to be. If anyone has any questions, feel free to message me about fishing. But I don't want anything to do with anything fishing. The scene is in a disgusting state, and I don't want anything to do with it.
So yeah, I think we can all agree
on that's kind of rude of me to say, but yeah, I don't know until the scene gets it together. I couldn't care less to be involved in it, man. Bunch of posers.
It's just gonna be education, people with knowledge.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and I'm always open to so that's the other thing is So my social media, like my I've always had like a private social media like accounts. So those are the only ones that I'm running anymore. So if you're not on those, like don't feel like that's anything like rude or anything. I haven't kept up with them in years because I've been running this persona of the horseshoe kid. So if you have any questions, just send me a message and be like, yo, what's up, dude? Because there's like definitely no hard feelings. Like someone send me messages. I miss everyone.
I'll send you a message or two. Speaking of that, is the social media stuff the same? Have you changed any handles at all? Where can people reach you?
Just shoot me a message on Facebook if you need to get a hold of me. Adam Turnbull.
Done deal. Well, I know we've got a couple of awesome weeks coming up.
Yeah, man.
We're
I'm
talking
excited.
ice fishing. We're talking gear. We're talking safety. Mitch is going hunting next week, so we won't have Mitch next week. Maybe we'll have Mitch the week after. I might actually try to find a way to set up my tent in here. The garage is a mess. Maybe I'll broadcast from the tent. I know that's an idea Mitch had for me last year. We'll talk gear. We'll talk tips. We'll talk tricks. If anyone has a question they want to ask Adam or I'll tell you what, make a $20 donation to my charity. We'll bring you on live for a couple of questions with Adam and I during a live show. That charity is Use Can Fish Too. If anyone wants to know any more, Mitch, where can they reach you while you're off hunting next week?
Northwest Mitch or Alberta Fishing Trips. It's up to you, or Northwest Mitch on Instagram.
That's awesome. You can catch me. That sounds weird. You can catch me. Anyways, at Living for Fishing on Instagram or Todd Boyd on Facebook. I have a boring 4-letter, 2-word name. You can find me easy enough, not an issue. Next week's guest, a guy you've never seen before, Mr. Adam Turnbull. The Ice Fishing Show special starts next week, Tuesday, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Mitch, go get your moose.
Goodbye.
Good luck, brother.
See everyone next week. Take care. Thanks for joining the show.